All right. Let's try this again. Welcome to Thunderdome, bitch. We're going to pit two of our contestants against each other, arguing about the greatest game of all time. Our contestants this time, Robert and Sarah. They're going to be arguing what the greatest game of all time is. Each of them has their own preference, and you, in the chat, are going to choose. So don't pick what your favorite game is. Pick who has the best argument and who the winner is. And then maybe we'll have some sort of standoff or something at the end.
Pick me.
Maybe we'll solve it with some actual brawling. But Robert, your game, sir.
Final Fantasy VII.
Final Fantasy VII. All right. That is probably the most popular Final Fantasy game of all time. I'm not going to give you any ammunition, though. So, Sarah, what's yours?
Can I do the two?
Sure. I think that
Okay.
counts, really.
All right. Legend of Zelda, Ocarina of Time, and Majora's Mask.
Because Majora's Mask was really kind of an expansion at the time.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll count that. Opening arguments. Robert.
Final Fantasy VII had one of the greatest stories of any video game of all time. The story changed, characters died, and that's the first video game that made 13-year-old boys cry.
You never
Okay.
cried before that?
No.
Oh, of course.
All right. That's your opening argument? Want to add anything else?
The opener.
That's the opener. Sarah, Ocarina of Time / Majora's Mask. Go. Opening argument.
This was the first 3D Zelda game, and it was also the first game to include puzzles, complexity, beautiful graphics, beautiful music in one whole package, and it was very accessible to just about everyone.
Counterpoint. Hey, listen, winner, Final Fantasy VII. No. I'm kidding. Go ahead. Sorry. Okay. Now, go on the attack and disassemble Ocarina of Time.
I do like me some Zelda. However, within Final Fantasy, the story actually changes. Like I said, characters die, the story develops. And Ocarina of Time, you have that weird time travel thing where you go back and forth, and just made the story more complicated. And it was just so linear. You had part one, you had where you're a kid. You had part two, where you're an adult, and then the story's done.
So not as intricate as a story as Final Fantasy.
But that's why I include Majora's Mask with it. And you say that people dying as being a point that makes a game superior, when there are many theories that the whole cast of Majora's Mask is actually dead, and that Link is in purgatory, and he's having to repeat the same 3 days because that's the rules of purgatory, that you will have to complete these tasks in order to get out. And if you don't, you're going to continuously repeat these 3 days. You will always die at the end, and you will always start at the beginning from scratch.
Negative 200 points to Slytherin for bringing up what is essentially a creepypasta. Robert.
I would say with that argument, that would be a fan theory that he's in purgatory, and a fan theory isn't canon. It's cool to come up with, interpret things in a different way. That's what art is. But it is a fan theory and not.
That's what
not
art
canon.
is, Sarah.
But
silly girl.
But how is that?
However, I'm not done yet.
I'm sorry, Mr. Romney.
When it comes to Majora's Mask, that is the most annoying Zelda game. I'm going to put it out there because you have to repeat the same damn thing until you got it right. And that game was the most frustrating Zelda game, and I love Zelda games.
However, you are repeating things in order to improve yourself and to do a better job. If you are repeating because you're failing, that's your own fault for failing the game. But if you're repeating the same days because you are learning more about the characters and the people and the rich cast of that game, then to me, that's a win.
All right. I want to bring up a new point. The music of Final Fantasy VII far more superior than the Zelda games.
It's far better than da-na-na, da-na-na.
The Zelda games have very iconic music, most of which started with A Link to the Past. But the actual music, the soundtrack of Final Fantasy VII, has a huge range of emotion, which makes it a much more cinematic video game.
I will give you that the music in Final Fantasy VII is beautiful. It's orchestral. It's also a mix of a little bit of whatever the rock of the late 90s in Japan was, which I like. However, the Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask music was specifically designed for you to replicate on your ocarina. That was limiting. However,
Everybody's got one of those.
I had an ocarina. I didn't. I'm kidding. I mean, your ocarina on the game. And the creativity with the few notes that you were allowed with the ocarina was very good, and the tunes themselves were very catchy, very easy to sing along to, I guess you could say. Yeah, if you like that bombastic, over-the-top, melodramatic, operatic Sephiroth theme, that's fine. I prefer a little simpler folk kind of tune to that. And that's another point. Sorry.
Go ahead.
That's another point about Legend of Zelda. It is more of a folk tale than a grandiose opera, as the Final Fantasy games tend to be, or try to be, and often fail at being. And in that way, it makes the game more accessible to a broader audience. My problem always with Final Fantasy was it got too bogged down in the plot, and there wasn't as much. Shut the fuck up, Jason Murphy!
I didn't say anything.
Hate you and everything you stand for, you salty cunt.
That's fair. Final arguments.
Final Fantasy had the better ending. It had the better story and had a much more vast and interesting array of characters. I would choose Cloud to be a hero over a Link, who never talks.
Link is an audience avatar. You are the hero in that game, even though you're playing a little blonde kid. And in that way, it makes it a more relatable game, a more accessible game.
Okay. If I may offer my opinion, fuck Chocobos and Navi's a little bitch. What does the chat say, John? All right, chat. Let us know what your opinions are. You guys can jibba jabba or whatever.
Now, actually, I think the plot to Final Fantasy VI is better, but that's my opinion.
Are we still arguing, or are we just chit-chatting?
I'm just
Both.
All right,
I mean,
no,
Final Fantasy VII is a great game. I'm not saying it's not.
Okay, we have a winner.
But
We have a winner.
We have a winner.
John, tell us who the winner is.
Sarah, you are the winner. Your argument. Some people are saying that though you are actually not correct, you had the better argument. You were the better at arguing your point.
And that is the point.
And then I also got one vote because apparently I'm the voice of God.
Apparently what?
I'm the voice of God.
The voice of God.
Look at this smug fucking face.
All right.
I'm a smug motherfucker.
Sarah, take your bow. Can we get
Thank
Chris
you. It was
and
a
Matt
good-
Frank?
It was a good
Oh, it
debate.
was fun. No, I love Zelda, so I was like, oh, I don't want to argue against Zelda.
I like Final Fantasy a lot.
You kind of need both of those games.
I love fallen angel type characters,
Yeah.
so I do love Sephiroth.
All right, get the fuck out of here.
All right, goodbye.
I did.
Sarah, everybody give it up for Sarah for winning Ocarina of Time. Sit over there. Sit over there. All right. Our next contestants on Gaming Thunderdome. I didn't come up with a name for this, so I'm just... it's the Tetris. Matt Frank, Chris Cox.
Oh my God!
All right.
Can we hear from Matt Frank here, the best Godzilla artist in the world?
Yep, that's true. That's true. Man, okay, I have to say something about your art. By the way, Matt draws a lot of Godzilla stuff.
It's
Coming
amazing.
from Jason Murphy, so it's gonna scare me.
No, it's,
He's gonna be nice.
are you trying to kill yourself?
Oh right. Well,
Because all of your detail, I'm like, shit, man, you're trying way too
Let me
hard.
see if it can pick up the popping noise in my shoulder. There it is. Yeah, that's gonna be some surgery in a year or two.
Yeah, he
so.
does it like a. Well,
How'd you get that? Well, lacrosse.
who's the artist? Who,
What about you? Oh, it's chopping wood. What about you? It's drawing Godzilla. It's drawing giant lizards fighting other giant lizards.
who's the artist who drew Hard Boiled with Frank Miller? Was that Jeff Darrow?
Jeff Darrow? I think maybe. Yeah.
Yeah, Jeff Darrow.
He's like the Jeff Darrow of kaiju.
Yeah.
It's funny because Jeff Darrow does a lot of kaiju stuff himself.
Does he?
Ridiculous amounts of detail. All right, guys. So here's what's
Okay.
going to happen. You're each going to tell us your game, and then you're going to give your opening arguments. You're going to go back and forth for a minute, and then the chat is going to pick a winner. And then I think maybe at the end, the winner is going to have to fight the other winners on WWE Legends of Wrestling. No, is that not what we're doing?
I might
sounds
intentionally
amazing.
try to lose.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
There's no
Chris can
game?
have that.
It's just the arguments.
Oh,
Shit. All right.
well, so much for that. Ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba.
Can I just say
Whatever.
wrong every 10 seconds? when
Wrong.
he's speaking?
Gentlemen, be respectful. Actually, don't be respectful.
No.
If you want to talk about each other's moms or whatever, Chris's mom's is an easy target. She just broke her hip. She's fucking.
I don't have it in me.
She's gonna be having surgery in the morning.
Hey, no, seriously. Good thoughts and prayers if that is your inclination to Chris's mom.
Aw.
I'm sorry to bring that up. I shouldn't have said anything. but-
She's not dying.
yeah,
So.
that was
Yeah.
shitty of me. But hey, audience, think of her. Yeah.
This isn't
Sorry.
Leog. We can't belittle our,
No
our
holds
ill
barred.
and injured
I know.
friends
No, that was
for
shitty
3
of me.
hours in a row.
That was shitty of me.
I'm a little scared. Sometimes I think I have all the old Leogs still on audio, and I'm like, I should go back and listen to these sometime. And I think about how much the rules of being like what you can and can't say anymore have changed. I'm like, I don't want to know.
I know.
I don't want to know.
Yeah.
I
what
just-
terrible.
You don't
shit
want to
we
find
did.
something in there that will ruin all of our lives.
Exactly. Jason, do you remember when you said this?
Man, well, you don't need to keep those because Elliot is like a walking Leog encyclopedia
God, he listens and re-listens and re-listens. Anyway,
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
and throws it in my face.
Jeez, I don't even listen to it that much.
All right, so Matt,
Yeah.
what is the greatest game of all time?
Okay, if we're being completely honest, what I
Wrong. Sorry. Sorry, I won't do that again.
think. Wanna go down this road?
Cowboy.
No, I think honestly, what I think is not only probably my favorite game of all time, but I think just one of the most soundly designed, amazingly made games of all time is Okami.
Okami.
Yeah.
All right.
I can't argue with him if I have no idea what he's talking about.
Tell us about Okami.
Okay, Okami is. It's a PlayStation. It was originally a PlayStation 2 game. It's one of those games that keeps nearly slipping into obscurity, and then it gets rescued every generation or so for a re-release. And it's made by Capcom, and it's a Japanese folktale video game, like every Japanese folktale wrapped up in a game, where you play as the goddess of the sun, Amaterasu, who comes to Earth in the form of a wolf, and you use giant magical paintbrushes to save the world and fight giant eight-headed dragons and ladies with boobs.
And ladies with boobs?
Yep.
This is like arguing with a Salvador Dali painting.
It is also all made to look like a Sumie painting.
Okay.
I win.
All right. Chris, what is your favorite game of all time? Or the greatest game of all time?
Okay, I would have to go with Red Dead Redemption.
Chris wins.
Oh, yeah, that's it. I mean, I think the chat is gonna eviscerate me now.
It's
I'm
hard-
sorry, Matt. That was a very well-reasoned explanation there.
Oh, he had to say the title, and that was. I sit there like, oh,
Get
well,
the
it
fuck
has
out.
this, that, and the other, and he's like, well,
You know why? Marston!
Well, not only is it a incredibly well voice acted game, like the voice acting's wonderful, the cutscenes are engaging, the graphics are beautiful, and like the way you transition from like different environments from one to the other, the detail amounts there's Sasquatch in them that are woods, you know? I mean, and they've also, let's not forget, like a abandoned video game genre. Westerns abandoned. They took it and turned it into the must-play game of the year, and as if that wasn't good, they were like, no, that's not good enough. They put on the greatest add-on to any video game in history with the zombie Red Dead Redemption, which is another like 12 hours of play to fight zombies that's just as dark and depressing and horrible as it should be.
I think we need some fan art of John Marsden gutting and skinning Amaterasu from Okami, right? And
Well,
then
my favorite
selling
thing-
the pelt.
My favorite
sad.
extra in the zombie part of it is that you can find all 4 horses of the apocalypse that go with the horsemen and collect them.
And a
And
unicorn.
they give you special powers and a unicorn. It's like, they're just giving you everything. I'm sorry.
So are you actually going to have a debate at any point here?
What's that?
Are you actually going to have a debate at any point here?
We're
Oh
getting-
no,
it's the
I've
opening
got
arguments.
counterpoints.
It's the opening
I
argument.
played both.
All right, Matt, counterpoint. Why
Okay.
does Red Dead Redemption suck?
Okay, so
luck.
as much
Choose your
as-
words carefully.
Well, it's saying the advantage that Okami has is that it's a fairly consistently entertaining game. There's always stuff to do. There's always crazy characters and weird shit happening from a completely different culture. Like, I don't know what the fuck is going on, but that's awesome. And there's not long stretches where you have to herd cattle for fucking ever.
Really?
Yeah. You know, you're going around like, a guy gave the cattle from, oh, look, another one got away. I got to go keep that one from running off the cliff. I guess. Oh, shootout. Okay, now I'm interested again. Oh, now we got to go help Bonnie at the ranch. Gonna go talk to Bon.
Chris, counterpoint.
I'm guessing somebody didn't grow up watching Westerns for
Nope.
one thing. The other thing is cattle ranching. Those are side missions for the record. You can
No, they're not. You have to complete them for the
can
goddamn
skip-
game.
Yeah, like 1 or 2 of those you do, but yes. But still, they're fun to do. They're fun. It's not like you're actually herding cattle. It's like it's a fun little side quest mission. And in terms of like you know, you're talking about like games that like no one has ever heard of, Okami. And why is that? Like other Japanese games came over to America and were giant hits, like Resident Evil and Final Fantasy. Okami? Nobody knows what the fuck Okami is because it probably sucks.
So I guess by that logic, the Transformers movies, which make a shit ton of money every year, they must be better than most of the other movies coming out.
No, if they were made in Japan and in Japanese and they came over here and made a bunch of money, you might have a point.
Wait.
I think Chris might be doing some circular logic here.
A little bit.
All
maybe.
right. Okay, so do you have any closing arguments, gentlemen?
Well, I think that yeah, sure. Not a whole lot of people. No, wasn't like it was made a lot of money, you know. But no, but seriously though, I just think that Okami is just it's the complete package because it has a lot of emotional ups and downs. You get invested with these characters right off the bat. And it's such a big slice of this culture and it covers the whole gamut. It covers like Southern Japanese culture, Northern Japanese culture, and which is all wildly different, and it's all very just fascinating, just sumptuous visual and cultural feast. And it's consistently entertaining. I feel.
Some mighty big words you're using there, Matt Frank. Chris, closing arguments.
Just to close out the previous thing we were discussing there, like video games is the one exception to that art world argument of like where it's made and money and whatever that I don't think any of that even applies because all that stuff comes out. You're talking about a game that was released here alongside of Final Fantasies and what have you, and we didn't respond to it. Nobody else responded to it but Matt Frank and the Japanese. So I don't know. Maybe that was the thing. In terms of like sheer being affected by a video game, some of the few times I've ever played a video game have been awed by how beautiful it just was. Just points where you're like, look at that, what's happening on the screen right now. Just being kind of moved by the visuals. Red Dead Redemption is one of the few games I've ever felt that way about.
It's funny. I would take all of that and apply it to Okami
All right,
too.
let's get it from the chat. Chat, what do you think? Red Dead Redemption or Okami? A great pairing.
I can't think of anything more different.
My points, I'd like to just say,
apologize, Matt. It's okay.
First of all, Chris is correct, and as far as Okami goes, really didn't see Matt Frank choosing a Japanese game. That came out of
no
left
idea.
field.
I know,
I
it's
thought for
shocking.
sure he was going with the Smurfs on ColecoVision.
Yeah.
So I'm going to be honest here, guys.
Well, I almost
This
went
is
with
a
my.
really close call.
Really?
Yeah!
This is like
Come on, Chad.
super close because
Told you. Not really.
a lot of people are basically agreeing with Chris's game, but they're saying Matt had better arguments.
Okay, so
But the winner is Red Dead.
all right.
Gonna drop that. Gonna drop Little Boy and Fat Man again. I
God
guess.
is in his heaven. The flowers are blooming, and all is right with the world.
In all
Gentlemen,
fairness, I do love the shit out of
all
Red
right,
Dead
for our
Redemption.
final round, we're gonna get Jeff in here. We're gonna get Quickkick in here, and I want to get Randy in here as well. Can somebody grab Randy? Randy Lander? Yeah, please do. Kilted Animators. All right. So far, Chris and Sarah have been victorious.
Oh, he didn't win.
Quickkick, I'm gonna want you over here next to me. We're gonna get Randy in here to help. Oh yeah, we're gonna need that other mic if that's okay. I'm gonna get Randy in here to help Quickkick.
You get it ready to help. It's 2-on-1. You're stacking the odds against me.
What? Yeah, a little bit.
Oh man, dirty pool, Murphy. Dirty pool.
All right.
I don't know.
You could sit,
Professor Dog, right?
or do you want to switch with me, Jeff? So that because
Why don't you sit here?
all right,
And then those two can be over there
do
and
that.
do their thing.
all right, Randy, get over there. We're doing a debate, Randy.
Quit touching me.
What's that?
Don't take my mic, bro.
All right, that's better. All right, Randy, what we're doing, we're debating here right now. Okay, and
I think you're a son of a bitch. Is that?
Okay, good. Point 1 to Randy.
Winner.
Okay,
100
all right.
points,
Boom.
Gryffindor.
Let's take a break and we can come back.
We're arguing the greatest game of all time.
Yep.
I'm going to tell you what yours is.
Oh, okay, go ahead. You go ahead.
But see, I think it's one that you can
All right.
actually argue.
No, by all means. You've known me a long time. I want to know.
Because Quickkick already picked one that he was going to argue with Jeff.
Yeah.
Quickkick, you and Randy are going to be arguing that the greatest game of all time is
Skyrim. What are we arguing?
Skyrim.
Skyrim.
I have never played Skyrim.
Jesus Christ! What really?
You thought you're like
I thought
everybody's
for
played.
For some
Everybody's
reason, I
played
thought you were a huge Skyrim fan.
Everybody's played Skyrim.
All right,
That's Dave. Dave's a big Skyrim fan.
stay there for color commentary.
So much for the handicap.
Okay.
All right.
All right, so this is the big match. Skyrim versus, you know it's coming. Dark Souls.
What? Come on.
So, Randy, you can just help me talk shit to these guys instead of participating in the argument. So, opening arguments. Why is Skyrim the greatest game of all time? Quickkick.
Okay, since we actually have games of a similar genre, we can argue from that point of view. With Skyrim, we had a widely released game, immensely successful. If nothing else, we can talk about how it affected the gaming industry. Now, a lot of times with other games, you have the fantasy genre, not easily accessible, RPGs, not easily accessible. Skyrim managed to blend all of those into a cohesive game that even your average person could get into. With Skyrim, you enter a world where you're given great storytelling, amazing visuals, and mechanics that, granted, they had their own flaws, but they're easily accessible to the general masses. All right? You don't have to spend 20 to 30 hours in utter frustration, gouging your eyes out, just to figure out how to beat the first boss. Now, you could argue about the quality of the game. Let's talk about the quality of the game. Excellent storytelling, excellent voice acting, amazing graphics, like we stated before, beautiful looking scenery that immediately draws you into the story. You come into Skyrim, and yes, there's the whole prisoner fetish that Bethesda loves to start off all their games with, but you come into the story, you're immediately wrapped up in your own character that you're allowed to create. You can go on the main storyline, you can go on side quests. All of them are unique. You can have a secondary story quest that's just as long as the primary. Very few other games are successful at doing that. Skyrim brings that to you in spades. So many interesting characters are to be met, to dealt with, and all of them have different resolutions.
Wrap it up. Opening
That's my
comments.
opening argument.
Jeff, why is Dark Souls the greatest game of all time?
Dark Souls is the greatest game of all time because it has changed the landscape of video games in a dramatic way. I feel like one of the most important things about a video game is whether or not you come out the other side of that video game pretty much the same as you went in, and with Dark Souls, you will not. You will be a better human being by the time that you get to the other side of Dark Souls. A story the likes of which I have
some bullshit.
very. Oh, you don't do commentary when he's talking.
No,
All right.
I'll allow it.
All right. A dark adult fantasy story, which is not some bullshit copy and paste Dungeons and Dragons, Lord of the Rings ripoff bullshit. Visuals that are both horrifying and affecting, and not just a fucking dragon who's like Fus Roda and some fucking Viking helmets and bullshit like that. A combat system which is not fundamentally broken. And while there are not 300 hours of story of gameplay in the original Dark Souls, every moment of that game is going to be imprinted upon you for the rest of your life. You're going to be able to talk about who did what and what their motivations were. Not only that, but as a game, it has fostered an online community to help other people, to speculate on the storyline, to show people different types of builds, as well as having something that Skyrim doesn't have, which is multiplayer. Multiplayer in a very, very unique way that outside of its predecessor Demon's Souls has not been seen before. From top to bottom, the game has an infinite amount of replayability and does not get boring the exact same way that Skyrim does.
All right. I'm going to throw a little wrench into this.
All right.
Randy, what is the greatest game of all time?
Oh, goddamn.
The greatest game of all time. Shit. That's a hard question.
And your opening argument.
Oh, and my opening argument?
Yep. Let's do it. Come on.
All right, you know what?
One of these.
I'm gonna go Grand Theft Auto. I'm gonna go Grand Theft Auto, and I'm not gonna go 5 because I haven't finished playing 5. I'm gonna go Grand Theft Auto 4, the game changer, because the graphics might not have been where the current one is, but Grand Theft Auto was really the big introduction of open world, and you could follow the story. You could be your character, and you could go through and play a character the whole time, or you could go off and fuck off for an hour if you want. It was the best combination of long form play, follow through the story, and the casual drop in and out that you get from a really good first person shooter. If you wanted to drop in for an hour, fuck around, and get the cops chasing you, you could do that, or you could go in and you could follow through the story of let's see, if like 4 was you're a mafia dude on that one. No. I don't know. Whatever the story was on 4, they're all essentially the same. But, you were a guy moving up in the crime world, and you could follow that story to the end, or you could drop in and shoot a bunch of shit up. So I'm going Grand Theft Auto.
All right. Quickkick. Why does Dark Souls suck?
I'm glad you brought up, Jeff. I'm not looking at you in a proper debate forum. I'm glad you brought up about the industry being changed by Dark Souls. Strangely enough, Skyrim sold, as of 2014, 20 million copies at least on all 3 platforms. Dark Souls, 2.3 million. Now, we can talk about how that has affected the industry. But I'll also go ahead and forego that. And we mentioned previously also Grand Theft Auto. Grand Theft Auto has more sales. However, talking about all the different possibilities in the game, with Skyrim, unlike Grand Theft Auto, you don't have to be a gangster. You don't have to commit crimes. You can go off, be a wizard. You can go off, be a warrior. You can be a warrior wizard. You can be a warrior wizard working for the Dark Brotherhood, who is also fighting for the independence.
But why does Dark Souls suck?
You can do those exact same things in Dark Souls.
Dark Souls.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
okay. Objection
Through me. Objection.
All right. No, you know what? Why does Grand Theft Auto 4 suck?
Grand Theft Auto 4, again, great game, but same formula we've seen in every single Grand Theft Auto game. All right, you're a criminal. You have to do criminal things in order to advance. There's no if, then, or buts about it. You have to do things that are crimes, which can be fun, but after the 3rd or 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th game, it gets a little old and sterile. When you're going through these worlds, a lot of times you tend to get bored with it because you go to this place, shoot these people, smack the whore around, get
Jeff,
the money.
why does Skyrim suck?
Skyrim sucks for a lot of reasons. Number one, let me just say that because a game sold more does not mean it's a better game. Adam Sandler movies make a lot of money. That doesn't mean they're good movies.
Objection. I did not make that point.
You were trying to say that
I did not
more
make that point,
sales
sir.
means a better game. But let me just say this. Here are the reasons that Skyrim sucks. Number one, the story is like fucking generic as hell. It is super generic. The enemies are generic. The people are generic. They basically just ripped off every piece of mythology that's ever been done. It's all very generic. Number two, the combat in that game is fundamentally broken. It's either too hard or it sucks. Once you hit level 50 or you cap out one of those skill trees, everything in the game turns to garbage. You just waltz through like a living god. Number three, the subquests that you're touting so much have no flavor to them. They're like an MMO doing the same goddamn thing over and over and over and over and over again.
Randy, why does Dark Souls suck?
I've never played it, so it must suck.
That's right, because it's awesome.
You go.
I will interject to say I'm glad you brought the point of originality for Dark Souls because the Grimm brothers called they want their stories back from Dark Souls.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you because everybody is screaming in this entire place.
Yeah.
Dark Souls, the Grimm brothers called they want their stories back.
The Grimm brothers?
Brothers Grimm.
The Brothers Grimm?
Brothers Grimm, fairy
Okay,
tales.
can I take a second here? Will you tell me 3 storylines from Dark Souls that are Brothers Grimm stories?
I'm sorry. Could you tell me one from Skyrim that's ripped off directly from someone?
I didn't say that Skyrim. Well, okay, let's see. All right, hold on. Let me just think about it for a second. No, all right, fuck it. I don't know.
Doesn't
All right,
Skyrim
Jeff,
open with
whatever.
a dragon attacking?
Yes.
Okay, isn't that Smog?
Yeah, pretty much.
Jeff, why does Grand Theft Auto 4 suck?
Grand Theft Auto 4 sucks because nobody wants to drive a car, an 86 fucking Corolla that drives like an 86 fucking Corolla. We want to have fast cars that go fast and have flames shooting out of them and go on top of things. Also, the world was very small. And outside of that, I don't know. I really love Grand Theft Auto 4.
All right,
so-
closing arguments.
All right.
15 seconds, go.
Skyrim is an open world experience that not only wows you with the sheer beauty of its landscapes, it draws you in with the characters. It draws you in with the stories because you are a part of that world. You change that world according to how you would like. It doesn't force you
Randy,
into one.
Grand Theft Auto 4, 15 seconds.
Perfect mix of casual play and long form play, the originator of open world gaming, and still the best.
That was 6 seconds. Jeff, 15 seconds, go.
You've never played a game like Dark Souls before, and you will get everything out of it that you put into it. It will reward you for being a better player and for playing it as well as you can.
All right, well said. Chat, what do you say?
I have to say something.
Oh, dear.
The Kilted Animator.
We're all about to get this one.
If we're talking about the greatest game of all time, Super Metroid.
Super Metroid is absolutely fantastic.
Yes. And I would propose that.
Jeff can finish it in 2 hours.
I can finish it in 45
2 hours?
seconds. All right.
Is there video of this?
Yeah.
Yeah?
No, I've done it.
Does it happen to have commentary that might or may not relate to a Metroid slash fiction in it?
It might.
This channel has everything.
All right, John, you want to give us a little indication? I know,
Dude, I want Symphony of the Night versus Super Metroid. Fuck.
all right.
Drum roll, please. It is Jeff is the winner. Dark Souls is the better game because Jeff put down the better argument.
I can't hear
Is what the
happened.
chat is saying.
I won! Yay!
I am
That was very impassioned. Is it time for us to take a break yet?
No.
Like 10 minutes? All right.
Hey, what's your favorite game? What's the best video game of all time? Jason?
Red Dead Redemption. We already argued that one with Chris and Matt Frank.
Oh,
What did
man,
they bring
I was
at
gonna
you
say
that
too.
was not Red Dead Redemption?
Well, it was Chris versus Matt Frank. Chris was on Red Dead Redemption. Matt Frank was on Okami.
That's not even fair.
Well, it's fucking Matt Frank. What
It's
do you
not
I mean,
fair.
It's like one of my notes at the end. I didn't do them to you guys, but my notes at the end was Chris is correct, and nobody saw that Matt was going to pick a Japanese game. Really, that was out of left field, you know. So of the winners, we have Ocarina of Time.
Okay.
Sarah successfully argued that one.
Right.
Chris successfully argued Red Dead Redemption.
Right.
And then you won with Dark Souls. I think that was really kind of the. You won that because you yelled. Really, basically.
I was passionate.
You were passionate.
I was passionate.
Yeah, you were incorrect, but passionate. Yeah.
Okay.
Red Dead Redemption versus Dark Souls.
Oh.
I will moderate.
Okay, the chat has asked for the Battle Royale.
All right, here we
Red
go.
Dead Redemption versus Dark Souls. I am taking Red Dead.
Bring it.
We too shall
What do you got?
Opening arguments.
What do you got? What do you got?
Randy,
All right.
you guys moderate.
All
What do
right,
you got?
so Jason, your opening argument. Go.
Marston!
It's not an opening argument. You're just pandering to the fans. You're pandering to the fans, man. It's not an argument.
All right, Jeff, your opening argument.
Praise the sun.
All right, one of you motherfuckers gonna have to actually argue.
Are we just going to yell tropes at each other for
20 circles.
That's right.
All right.
No, I
Red
like
Dead
it.
Redemption is
Okay.
about the death of the West. It's about manhood. It's about doing the right thing and taking care of your family.
Right.
It is about it is the epitome of masculinity of a guy who has done some really horrible things and trying to find retribution, even though it is all of these horrible things that it's going to allow him to find retribution, and he's getting dragged back into that world. He is the dialogue is impeccable. He is the ultimate badass. It is the greatest game. It is an open world game with the greatest character of video game history.
Okay.
Go.
Dark Souls is about entropy and hope in a dying world that
What are you, a philosophy teacher now?
Whoa, what you're talking to me about the death of the West and masculinity and all your bullshit, right? You're seeing people fighting back against entropy that is destroying their entire goddamn universe, trying to fix something that went wrong a long, long time ago.
love Star Trek too, Jeff.
Okay.
Professor
What is
Dog
that?
is
You
very
just
concerned.
Entropy and people turning into chaotic beings and weird
Have you ever
esoteric
seen Star
shit.
Trek 2?
I have.
You haven't
I
seen
have.
it, have you?
Gentlemen, this
You've
is a
been fronting
debate.
the entire-
One at
okay.
a time. One at a time.
All right. All right.
All right, gameplay. Jeff, what is the selling points of Dark Souls gameplay?
The selling point of the Dark Souls gameplay is that Dark Souls gameplay is both rewarding and flexible and gives you back everything that you get to it. It's not a game that you can set on easy and just go into slow motion and headshot a bunch of motherfuckers. You have to make plans. You have to try things out. You have to seek and find the exact way that you want to play that game. Red Dead Redemption has one move. It's called shoot you in the head. That's it. It's 30 hours of shoot you in the motherfucking face. In Dark Souls, you can use 3 different types of magic. Whips, bows, arrows, crossbows, swords, axes, double-handed, blah, 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 blah. And you can use all these things not only on the world, but on other people who will come into your game to make your gameplay experience that much better. Are you so good at a game that you can beat it with your fucking hands tied behind your back? Well, guess what? There's some other people who are going to come in and challenge you even further.
Jason, gameplay, feel free to insult Dark Souls in your description.
Thank you very much, Randy. I would like to say that Dark Souls is an incomprehensible mess, and it's only for people who have a deep-seated amount of self-loathing.
Oh.
I meant more
Like you, Jeff.
I meant more the
Like
gameplay,
you.
but whatever. You can insult whatever.
What's that?
I mean, you can more insult the gameplay of Dark Souls, but
Well, I am
He
insulting the
can't
gameplay
because
of
he's
Dark
never
Souls.
played it. He's not enough of a man to step up to Dark Souls and learn how to play the fucking game.
I have
I offered to
transcended.
walk you through Bloodborne, and you were just like, "Nah, I don't have
I
the
don't
time.
want you
It's too hard."
holding my hand through this self-flagellation thing that you go through.
Why?
I don't want. I don't
Gentleman
want
from North Austin will not interrupt the gentleman from South Austin, please.
Red Dead Redemption is transcended, and you were very incorrect in saying that the only move is shooting people in the head. I shot so many people in the balls, sometimes from the back of Greedo.
You quit pandering. You quit your pandering horse shit, you mother.
Also, I roped a good number of bitches, dragged them behind the horse, and then placed them on the train tracks so that nature could take its course.
Okay.
I also exterminated the Sasquatch.
Right.
I roped and broke many, many horses, thus proving my virility. You could feel the masculinity emanating from the screen, whereas you were wandering around, probably listening to Joy Division in your black velvet duster, going, "Oh my God, everything is so sad and horrible in Dark Souls, and I'm so good at it because I've played it forever." And
We need to get a Kickstarter to get me a Black Duster and a Joy Division CD because
Velvet
Velvet
Black Duster.
Velvet Black Duster.
The gentleman from North Austin will present his counter argument.
To what?
Your final argument. Why is Dark Souls better than Red Dead Redemption?
Okay. Dark Souls is better than Red Dead Redemption at a very basic level, and that level is gameplay. You've played 100 games like Red Dead Redemption. It may be prettier, it may have some slicker elements to it, it may have a story that appeals to you, but Red Dead Redemption is just another Grand Theft fucking Auto game. You're just stealing horses instead of cars, and you're just shooting people with a 6-shooter instead of a machine gun. It's got slow motion in it, so do a million other games. Max Payne has slow motion in it. What? Dark Souls changed the face of what we expect out of certain types of video games by giving you one of the most flexible, deep, and well-written worlds that we have probably still not seen the likes of which today.
Jason, final argument. Why is Red Dead Redemption better?
Marston! What a dick. What
What's
a
your
dick.
opening argument?
The
I'm
council will
going to
note,
call you Richard Murphy from now on.
the council will note that Greedo was never found in the playthroughs of Red Dead Redemption. That will be points off.
Undead Nightmare wasn't found in Undead Nightmare. It was in Red Dead Redemption. Fucking
not
Judas.
You're like, hey, what do you not watch our videos? I mean, what, you don't know?
All right.
I sure don't.
Do we have a winner?
Oh shit.
Almost by a pretty good landslide here. The winner is Jeff with Dark Souls. Because the fans in the chat took off some points for your pandering. And also your gay cowboy shirt and your weird hair that's doing weird, trying to do weird curses and witchcraft on Jeff while he's talking.
That's right. That's right. You don't listen to Satanic Murphy. Do not listen to his pandering.
Well played, chat. Well played.
At 2 chat room. I did it all for you, Damien. I did it all for you. We're going to take a break.
We are.
I'm going to go cut Jeff's balls off. And I'm coming for you guys next. Okay?